Have you ever been called a misogynist by someone who doesn't really understand the meaning of misogyny? Do you feel like because you want to be a stay-at-home mom and enjoy your kids that the society around you has said that you're embracing misogyny? Are you a man who wants to just support a family and have a loving wife to build with, and they think that that's misogyny? If so, this is for you. Good morning, beautiful people. I wanted to talk today about misogyny. I'm going to read off of my phone the definition of misogyny because I don't want anyone to be led astray. What I've talked about in my support for men and my support of a divine godly structure has led to a few people calling me names, and they're so wrong. And I don't want to say that I am going to banter with them or argue with them if they stay and watch, because some haters do that. Haters gonna hate. So they're going to stay and watch. I just want to take that as a moment to educate. Let me read, okay? A misogynist is a person, usually a male, who holds deep-seated contentment, hatred, or prejudice against women, often believing that men are superior. Misogyny manifests through rigid gender roles, sexual harassment, discrimination, and serving to maintain a patriarchal structure. With that definition given to you, and with what I talk about, I, my husband, in a divine family structure given by God, cannot be misogynistic. They don't work together. They do not. My husband can't be a misogynist because his role as the head of the house, and I think that's what throws people off, is that he's the head of the house, but his role as the leader of the house or the CEO of the house is that he is serving God's will in protecting me and my kids. He is doing the work of the Lord in a human manifestation by protecting us. He is the first in line when it comes to danger. He takes on the majority of the issues within the household. I don't get to see them, and I'm so lucky for that, because it gets me to be the second in charge, which is of the kids and just the function and flow. Like, we both have important roles. We both do great work through God, and we both are living light of God. With the definition of misogyny being hatred is the base of that. You can't have hatred in your heart and do the Lord's work. This structure was in place simply because it works. A lot of people, and I'm going to say this and it's going to be controversial, and this might be the misogynistic point of it that you guys are saying, but a lot of women have trouble submitting. And I'm not going to say that past traumas are invalid, because I could say that I had trouble in before. But when you find a man that you know is committed to God, when you find someone that you know is truly loving and caring, then, and working with God in his heart, then it's not hard to submit. And it's not really being submissive, it's listening to God. So I'm not submitting to a man, so to speak. I'm submitting to God and his order and his structure. There's no problem with being an ambitious mom, ambitious woman. To try to say that because a man wants a woman who's willing to submit makes him misogynistic doesn't mean that he is. I think women who run with this are very egotistical and such. I think a lot of women have fear of losing control, and a lot of men who move in anger, who want this submissive wife in this family structure, have fear of losing control as well, because they're not working with God. In modern society and culture, it's this individual autonomy, that I am creating this whole thing by myself. And in reality, the lives that we live are a co-partnership with God. If you think that you live this life and you're doing everything on your own and that you're picking your destination, I hate to tell you, hate to break it to you, but you're just the vessel. Like, God's doing his work behind scenes, whether you like it or not. Also, misunderstand the nature of God If you think that this structure is because God thinks of women less than, then you are wrong. There are so many verses I can read that I see. Now, I'm not going to say I read the whole Bible, I remember it, but there's so many verses that have been brought to my attention about motherhood and about, you know, women submitting and things of that nature. And it's a grand thing to take on. It's a grand place to be. And you really are, as a mom, you really are showing the most godly thing that you can do, especially when you submit under this structure and submit to God's gospel. A lot of people take offense to it because they don't understand, and that's okay. What's not okay, though, is people who don't understand trying to bring the people who understand down, and that's where the problem for me lies, because you don't understand and you don't live with God in your heart, and you can't submit or bend your knee to God, so you can't do that with a man, so you come and attack someone who can and women who can, and it's really sad. I get to live my safest, happiest, self-fulfilled life because of this structure, and it works. And it works because that's what we were meant to do as women. We're meant to be creative, you know what I mean? We're meant to have fun with the kids. We're meant to make a house loving and happy and do all these things. And if you think that that is beneath doing a career that you can build with outside the home, then you're missing the point. And that's okay, and it's not for me to explain. That's something you gotta find out on your own. And I understand the idea of protecting yourself from the past, but that's living in fear, and that's not living with God, so move on with that. You might feel the need that you should be right because you don't understand, but you wanna be right. That's on you. That's not my problem. I know that with this family structure that God has given us, by my husband submitting to God, by me submitting to my husband and God, that things work. I know that God is moving through my husband in a way to protect us in every form, and he does everything that he can in his power to keep us safe. He does everything right in alignment with God, and he tries his best every single day. And that is all any person can ask for, especially when you're building a relationship with God, yourself, and your family. Don't feel that there's anything wrong with you because someone calls you a misogynist, because you want to truly be a man to serve a woman through God and serve God with a woman and bring children into this world, or you want a woman to stay home, provide and protect her and your kids. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with being a woman who wants to be that mom or that woman. So I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna say, I love you, God loves you, and for those who don't understand, you will, and I love you.